guessing.
I was going to ask you, still here, I didn't know how old that was. Watch that like no less
Brad, can you take us through the works this morning?
Yep, started with Catching Freedom on the inside of Encino, 5/8 from the 4.5. Good move. I think at 59-1, out 12 and change, and pleased with both. Encino traveling very, very well. Catching Freedom traveled well. Maybe ask a little bit more, but that's just him. That's what he's always been. So he stayed on galloping out, so I was happy with the move. Both riders were very. Florent was on Encino, exercise rider on Catching Freedom, and both moving well throughout. Seemed to cool out well, scope well. Happy with everything, and Encino will be entered in the Derby, and he's going to be ridden by Axel Concepcion.
Godolphin was saying this morning they wanted you to be the spokesman, but they said they wanted to see where Encino was, and thought working with Catching Freedom is a good way to get an indication.
Yeah, we did. I didn't really have it. I didn't know until a couple days ago that kind of popped in my head. That's what we do. I like the idea. I went back and forth on who I wanted inside and outside. Woke up this morning and decided to have Catching Freedom on the inside. Thought it worked best. Rider situation, kind of handicapping the horses and the riders. What I thought both horses would get the most out of, and I thought it worked out really well. And that was it. That was what we started with at 5:15. Moving forward to 7:30, we had Just a Touch by himself, first horse to work. Very good, steady work. 5/8 from the 4.5. Had him a minute 3 out, won 13-3. Good move, steady throughout, good gallop out, pulled out great, pulled out fast. He always does. He's a horse that hadn't run. Well, he hadn't ran 3 weeks ago. It'll be 4 weeks into the Derby, and he's plenty fit and doing great.
So with Encino, Brad, walk us through the decision process to run. And obviously you only kind of confirmed him today, but was it a question of 3 weeks? Would he bounce back quick enough, or is it, how does he stack up with Catching Freedom and the like?
Yeah, I like the breeze this morning. That was really the thing we were looking for, is just when we want to see how he worked. He's been training really, really well, and his work was really well, or went great. So we just want to see what he did, how he came out of it. Normally we typically work these horses back in a few weeks, just go an easy half solo. Obviously we're looking to run the Kentucky Derby, so we did a little bit more with him this morning than we would normally do back in 2 weeks. But listen, he's going to have to step up if he's going to be a Kentucky Derby winner. He's already a Kentucky Derby horse. We're looking for one of these to jump up and be the winner. So we threw a little bit more at him. He responded very, very well. Florent was very happy with him. Florent actually rode him in the Lexington. He rides Just a Touch. Committed to Just a Touch. Florent does not want to run him in the Derby, wants to run him in the Preakness because he would probably get to ride him, but that's just part of it, and he was very happy with the way he breezed.
So is it, assuming with all these horses they have to do well to run, they have to keep doing well. You said he will be entered, but the intention is he runs unless there's a reason not to run.
If he has a good week, he's running.
Talk about Axel on the horse. Of course, your son is the agent.
He is, but this kid was worked really. I say kid, he's 19. He's young. He just lost his apprenticeship in January, leading apprentice in the country last year. He's a real deal. This kid's good. He works hard. He's a very. For a young kid, he's an incredibly good judge of pace from what I've seen on the horses he's rode for me. He obviously rode Encino the first 3 starts of his career. We did make a change in the Lexington. Obviously it worked out, but we don't feel like we're taking a backseat here to anybody. This boy's a very, very good rider. He won a grade 3-4 yesterday, going 1.5 miles on the grass. Put the horse in a great position, and I know the Derbies, it's a different animal, but if you look at a lot of the top riders that are running in this race next weekend, they've not won the race. It's its own beast. It's its own animal, and it's a tough race to win, and I think you got to get a trip, and hopefully this horse gets a good trip with Axel.
He's familiar with the horse. He earned them out.
Yeah, for sure. He's worked extremely hard since he moved his tack to Kentucky last fall, and I think he's going to be a top rider.
Brad, there's always 1 or 2 key races along the Derby trail, and the Risen Star was a key race for Catching Freedom, really set him up for the Louisiana Derby. Can you talk about that resilience coming out of that race? And
yeah, he ran big in the Risen Star. I thought at the 8th hole he had a real shot to win it. Kind of, obviously he was beaten by a very good horse in Sierra Leone that went on to win Grade 1. So it seems to be the key race right now, and it's produced next out winners. And obviously Catching Freedom is, I think he moved forward a good bit from the Risen Star to the Louisiana Derby, and I thought he ran against what I thought was somewhat of a moderate pace in the Louisiana Derby, closed into that and finished up well. And he seems to be doing very well here at Churchill. He has experience here at Churchill, and hoping that the Risen Star can produce a Derby winner, and hopefully it's him, Catching Freedom and not someone else.
Another Encino question. It's really not your style to run them back in 3 weeks. Does that concern you?
No, yeah, it's always a concern, but you don't really know until you do it. The horse does carry a tremendous amount of, well, I shouldn't say tremendous, but he does carry good flesh, color's great, good weight, so it's not as if he's drawn up or looked like the Lexington took a tremendous amount out of him. I love the way he physically looks, and like I said, I have several people walk up to me and tell me, or talk about how good he looks galloping and how well he's moving. So, he's a young horse. He did come off the synthetic this winter, and he seems to be fresh and doing really well at the right time.
You opted to skip the bluegrass, so he hasn't raced the mile and 1/8. Is that, is that a concern at all? Is that something you would know?
I think based off his pedigree, I think he can get the mile and a quarter given the right trip. I think it's all about getting the trip in the Derby and how fast they go. I envision him kind of being somewhat close. He broke running last time. I actually thought he'd set off a couple horses last time, and he didn't. He just broke running, put himself in position, and took control of the race and kept going. So, we'll see how the draw goes tonight and go from there.